So, after the clatter of thrown off rules, after the heat of rebellion and the dizzying spin of trying on new identities, there comes a moment of profound exhaustion. The mind, having run in all directions, finally grows tired. The noise begins to subside, and in that growing quiet, something else becomes audible. Something that was there all along, beneath the programming, beneath the reaction, beneath the chaos. This episode marks the tentative, then undeniable birth of the inner observer. It starts as a subtle shift in perception, a flash of space between a feeling and the reaction to it. A moment where an angry thought arises, and instead of immediately becoming the anger, there is a tiny, silent pause. In that pause, a new vantage point is discovered. It's the part that can watch the thought, feel the emotion, witness the bodily sensation, without being completely identified with it. It's not about stopping thoughts or suppressing feelings. It's about noticing the thought as a thought, the feeling as a feeling. It's the separation of the I that is aware from the I that is programmed to think, feel, and react in certain ways. This is the foundational skill, the bedrock of all real magic. It's not about acquiring power, but about discovering the space in which power can be consciously directed rather than unconsciously spent. From this suspended, quiet space, something remarkable happens. The bubble, the entire constructed reality of beliefs, identities, and reactions can be seen as a bubble. Not just understood intellectually, but directly experienced as a phenomenon happening within awareness, not as awareness. This is meta-cognition, the ability to think about thinking, to be aware of awareness itself. The walls of the bubble don't vanish, but they become transparent. We see the wallpaper, the cracks, the way the light bends through its surface. We are no longer just inside it. We are also the space in which it exists. The magic of this realization is both simple and world-shattering. We are not our thoughts. We are the one hearing them. We are not the storm of emotions. We are the sky in which the storm forms and passes. This is witness consciousness, a state recognized and cultivated in contemplative traditions for millennia. It's the shift from being the content of consciousness to being the context. This isn't a passive state of dissociation. It is the most active form of presence. It is present moment awareness, stripped of the past regret and the future's anxiety. It is the deep, grounding knowledge that the only point of power is in the nanosecond of now. In this space of observation, before the next automatic program runs. The cultivation of this observer is the heart of true spiritual practice. It's not about chanting the right words or holding the right postures, though those can be tools. It's often the deliberate, gentle effort to return, again and again, to this seat of awareness. Each time the mind is caught in a story, each time the emotions surge, the practice is to notice the hook and softly step back into the watching space. This repeated action is like a muscle being built. It's the rewiring of the brain's default mode network, which is responsible for self-referential thought and mind wandering. Modern neuroscience, through studies on mindfulness meditation, shows that this practice thickens the prefrontal cortex, which is associated with executive function and meta-awareness, and weakens the connection to the amygdala, the fear center, We are literally changing the hardware of the bubble by observing it from outside. This concept of the detached observer is not a new psychological trick. It is the ancient central discovery of the enlightened masters, and they planted its seeds everywhere in plain sight, knowing it could only be understood through direct experience. In Advaita Vedanta, a school of Hindu philosophy, this is the ultimate teaching, the realization of the Atman, the true self, which is pure, unchanging, consciousness. Existence, consciousness, bliss. The Atman is the silent witness to all the changing states of the body and mind. The famous dictum, "Thou art that," is an invitation to recognize this ordinary, ever-present awareness as identical with the ultimate reality of the universe, Brahman. The entire spiritual path is the removal of the misidentification, avidya, with the thoughts, feelings, and roles to rest as the witness. The Buddha called this faculty Sati, often translated as mindfulness. It is the first factor of the 7 factors of enlightenment. His core meditation instruction in the Satipatthana Sutta, the discourse on the foundations of mindfulness, is a meticulous guide to developing the observer. He instructs practitioners to observe the body as a body, feeling as feelings, mind states as mind states, and phenomena as phenomena, ardent, clearly comprehending, and mindful, free from wanting to covet and displeasure concerning the world. This is a clinical, precise recipe for cultivating the witness. The Stoic philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome arrived at a strikingly similar point through reason. Marcus Aurelius, in his private meditations, constantly reminds himself to step back from impressions. He writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This stepping back is the activation of the observer, separating the core self, the faculty of choice, from the chaotic flow of sensory and emotional impressions. Even in the mystical traditions of the Abrahamic faith, this witness state is a goal. The Christian practice of contemplative prayer, or hesychasm, in the Eastern Orthodox tradition, culminated in the prayer of the heart, seeks to move beyond words and images to a state of silent, watchful presence before God. Jewish Kabbalistic meditation aims to quiet the lower souls, the emotional and instinctual drives, to allow the higher soul, Neshamah, which is a pure spark of divine witness, to illuminate consciousness. The emergence of the observer is the single most important event on the spiral. It is the fulcrum point before it. We are pushed and pulled by the currents of the program. After it, we have a place to stand from which to see the currents, and eventually to choose how to navigate them. It is the end of being a puppet, and the beginning of understanding how the strings work. This inner quiet isn't an escape from life. It is the foundation for a life that is truly lived, rather than merely reacted to. From here, the chatter of the mind becomes background noise, sometimes interesting, often trivial. The dramas of the ego are seen as performances on a stage, and in that clear, quiet space of the observer, the first genuine question of a free being can form. Now that I am here and I am watching, what shall I create?